Hello there. I had to come early today because I have something else I need to do, and that's rest. Okay, so I had to get started early. So you see, this is day 16. It's on here, so I won't be here in the morning or tomorrow afternoon. So I want to make sure that I get this out now. So Father, I pray God that one that really needs to hear know what's important now concerning associations. I pray, God, that they would hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying now. I pray in Jesus' name that they'll begin to assess their relationships. They'll begin to see what you want from them and that they will be obedient and do it. I pray that over them now in Jesus' name. Well, I want to say thank you once again. The ginger and the lemon is getting there. It's getting better. Just I can't figure it out what it is other than just, I guess, allergies. Anyway, let's jump into this subject really, really fast. You can see there, we've been talking about protecting our focus. Before 21, we'd already be in the mode of fighting for the focus. Because we have a lot of people that come around us and they really, really get us off focus. And, a lot of times we get in conversations even with people, even our own spouses. We get in conversation when you're married or when you have friends they call sister girlfriends or whatever you want to call them. These are people that are close to you. These are people that come near you or that honor you. But we got to look at what are we really doing when it comes to talking and having conversations with people. And many of the people are very contentious, and that's why we wanted to kind of go over this today. I thought it was important because we put a lot of angry people and a lot of people who are going through challenges, and what they're doing is they're not realizing what they're putting on us. So one of the things about our focus that I wanted to bring out is that you're going to have to look at and prepare, as I said on yesterday, to prepare to let some relationships go ahead on and die. And then when I say die, I mean that they need to not be revived. Let God do what he needs to do for that, and now you keep trying to make it better or trying to find out what you need to do. A lot of times God is trying to get that thing to be removed so he can bring something new. And that's what I want to talk about, the new associations really quick that you need to take a good look at, and what that new association need to look like. And they need to be kindred spirit. I always say that, and people think it's ugly, but it is what it is because it's true. They got to be your kind, which means that I'm not going to keep trying to do everything with someone that's not a believer. My job is to make sure I disciple them. But so when I'm trying to build kingdom and build relationships that are kingdom minded, I need to have my kind with me, right? So I don't want to have a whole bunch of apples around me when I am a lemon, right? But I'm not going to be the lemon. I got to be the apple. So I'll make sure that we got a whole bunch of apples in the midst of me. Some people are lemons, and guess what? You're trying to grow an apple tree, and it's not going to work. And so I wanted to make sure we look at the new association, making sure they have the kindred spirit that you have, that in other words, whatever they do, whatever they speak, it tends to make your baby kick. It tends to make your eyes open. It tends to make you really, really get, really, really enthused about the conversation because now they're speaking your language. And you can tell when relationships start to get old and dead, and that means they're dry because they're really not trying. They're not really not studying. They're just contentious. They're just angry and they're upset. And, they're very edgy. You don't need anybody like that around you. And these conversations are needless casualties for people who are trying to grow. And so you need to make sure that you monitor the relationship to see whether or not if it's too contentious that's throwing you off. Now, what happens when you have someone that is in a relationship with you and they're not talking your language? So you're going to be doing two things. One, you're either going to be constantly talking something to mature them in, or you're going to start talking in their language, and before you know it, you're going to be going backwards instead of going forward, which means that you're going to be still talking this old language, this old thing, when God is trying to give you a whole new baby to birth out, and yet you still feed the baby baby food, but the baby's trying to get some meat. And so subconsciously, you think that you're just trying to stay friends and do things, but you're really falling backwards. You're losing focus. You got to make sure that person is connected to whatever vine they need to be connected to, or whatever person they need to get connected to make sure that they maintain and get strong too. I mean, you don't want to just take your friend and leave them on a dark road, do you? You want to make sure they get somewhere in the light to get to where they are. But wherever you are on, like, it's almost like you're here and they're here. That means you got to make sure that they can come up somewhere in the journey. You don't want them just be, just steady downhill and you up here and you trying your best to pull them up. You can't do this. It's going to be God. And many of these people are very contentious. What I want to bring out about the contentious today is the fact is that some of these people are very close to you, and you've got to guard your calendar. Too often you have people who want to always be around you, always want to know what you're doing, always want to get to be with you, and that cannot work. Many of leaders that are listening to me now, that are leading people in numbers, whether you're a pastor or what have you, a mentor, a coach. Many of you have a lot of people who, because we serve these populations, many of them want to make sure that they stay close. And this is a good thing. It's very honorable. But one thing you got to know is that many times there's too much commonality that comes out of it. And so we got to make sure that we're very, very careful to make sure that we draw the line there so that the commonality won't be there and then disrespect and dishonor won't seep in. So one of the things I want to say about this is that your friend who is very close sometimes, someone who tend to not even be concerned about what your focus is. All they want to know is, are you going to go to the mall? Are you going to do this? Are you going to go with me? And then we don't go, they get very, very contentious. They get very, very angry or edgy about it and then try to, put you in a common place. Be very, very careful with that. It's going to throw you off. So your friends, or anyone for that matter, who helps keep you off focus is one that's going to be considered an enemy. It's going to be considered someone that is a derailer. They're there to keep you off the plans what God has you to do. And so you need to look at anybody who is going to help you another life, anybody that's going to help you with your focus, that's really who God has put in your life to be your mentor and your friend. They're trying to help you, but where it gets imbalanced at is when they start to get very angry. You got to avoid these types of contentious conversations. You got to avoid them all around, period. Because many of those people are there to try to derail you, and there you are in this needless casualty conversation. And so what I want to say to you is you got to be about your Father's business. You got to guard your calendar. You got to also make sure that on your daily assignments that God has given you to do, you got to make sure that those things don't get deterred by people who you want to just help out. You look at the situation where it was Mary and Martha was dealing with the situation that her brother Lazarus was dead. Come and raise my brother from the dead. And Jesus let him know, he just took his time by getting over there. But when he did get over there, things worked out for Lazarus. But we need to understand that just like Jesus, he's about his Father's business. We need to do the same thing. I'm not saying that we need to be so super spiritual and so up in heaven that we can't be any good on earth. But what I am saying is that you got to make sure that you do not take all of your energy out for all these drama things that go on in our family, all these contentious people who are angry because cousins did so-and-so, or so-and-so said they're not buying so-and-so for the holiday. We need to look at, what am I allowing to be contentious? What am I allowing in my home, in my marriage, in my relationships with friends to, be very contentious and edgy around me that makes my day just seem so shaken, seem so unnecessary. A lot of people are speaking contentious words about other people, of what they're mad, what they're mad about. And do you know that stuff just sits around in the atmosphere, and before you know it, you're doing the same thing, you're fussing and carrying on, and you're very angry too, and you don't know why you're angry. That's because these are spirits that come out of people. Anger is a spirit, frustration is a spirit, depression, and all these things, but people really want to be very, very vindictive, These are spirits. They're telling you that what they're going to do. They're telling you what they feel. And before you know it, they're crying. Now, when you go home, you feel depressed and drained. You don't know why. You got to avoid these unnecessary, I call them needless casualties. These types of contentious people, they are drainers. They will drain your life. They will drain your time, and they will drain your calendar. Make sure you protect your calendar from these types of situations and relationships and conversations. What I want to say is you got to avoid them because they're very unnecessary. Many of them are there because people are there to make sure they get you off. It's just draining. It's very exhausting, isn't it? Because before you know it, you don't want to do nothing but go lay down. You heard them fuss all day long about their children, all day long about what's been going on. And there's so many people, they fussing all the time in their marriages and in their relationships, dating relationships. I don't know why you're even together. The reason why I say that, because at some point that thing need to break. And you need to think about, why am I wasting time on this contention in my house, in my marriage? Why am I wasting time with someone who don't want to agree, not even to agree to disagree? They just want to just constantly make up excuses why you're wrong or they're wrong, or they're right. So millions of dollars have been spent on people trying to get negotiations on issues in their lives that they're just arguing about, that they have no decisions about anything. So they're very argumentative, and then warfare is costly. Let's think about it. I call it needless casualties in warfare. But warfare is very, very costly, and nobody really wins. The devil is trying to win, even though Jesus is Lord. But Jesus is only going to do what you allow in your space. He's going to say, okay, you already know the fruit of the Spirit. You need to make sure you obey me and listen to me. So how can you expect anything of peace when you don't put the expectation up front? Relationships in my time past, I will make it real, real, real. I'm not going to do this here. I'm not going to try that. People call me cocky. They call me whatever they want to call me. But I believe in needless casualties to be, squashed up front. I'm not going to be playing around with people, making them believe something because I'm just too afraid or too concerned the relationship not going to work out if I don't let them know how I feel. No. Because I believe that if I do that, now I'm being plastic. I'm being fake with you. I'm going to be straight up with you. And the problem with contentious people is they don't like people to be real. They like plastic. They like people to be counterfeit. So because many times that's really what's in their heart. They're very counterfeit, and they got a lot of deception and hurt in their heart. And they just want to keep this thing going on. But you can only do what you know, and you're going to only expect what you put out. And so when you expect something, that means you're going to expect it to come back the way you gave it out. You can't expect things to come back good that you constantly giving out bad. I mean, even a dog, you keep kicking him, he going to run away from you. I don't care how much you done fed him all week. He don't want the lawn no more. You need to make sure you understand that contentious people will destroy you. Contentious people will cause you and your relationship with God to get off sync. Contentious people will cause you, and even in the times that we're in right now, many of us have all types of spirits that's going on through family matters and everything else, to the fact that we just influence these type of things because we allow the devil to bring them around us. And before we know it, there we are judging other people. There we are getting mad. There we are trying to find a way to get out of this situation. But listen to me. Do not feed an argument. Do not feed this thing that's making your attitude change. Do not feed it. I actually have it on my answer machine. What you don't feed will actually soon die. That's right. What you do not feed will soon die. Why you always got to have something to say? Just be quiet. That's one of the things that I put a lot of marriages on. That's this type of fast. They say, what you want to fast on? Well, fast on don't talk it. Fast on not responding to everything that seems to hurt your feelings. Why don't you fast on just don't talk? I don't understand that, and just pray. Many of the women today, we as women, we always got something we want to say back. But the problem is that contention causes so much pain, because what goes out of your mouth, sister, bro, it is not going to be able to return back. You already said it. It's already in the airwaves. So we got to ask God to guard our lips so that we will not talk before God is finished telling you what you need to deal with yourself first. Because everything begins with us. We want to say it's them, it's that, and this. But now you got these relationships, you got these attitudes going on in your house and in your family that's causing so much contention because you feed it every day and everywhere you go. So you're going to be challenged every day. Yes, we are. I don't care if it's just driving to work. You're going to be challenging. And sometimes we want to start our own argument, our own quarrel, because we're mad because we haven't had a chance to really say what we feel. And so we want to say something. I guess you didn't go to the store. I thought, I guess I got to do that too. This is the wife's attitude. And then the husband, you was going to do it anyway. So that's why this guy don't do it. So then there you go. Yeah, but you need to help me. You don't help me with these children. You don't do anything. Just coming in and look at that TV. So, boy, you know what? We're all arguing about a TV and going to the store. Really? We're in a time right now that people are dying to be with their relatives. People are dying to be with their friends because of COVID. And we want to argue over these petty things. Really? We need to be praying for God to help us to be strong in our marriages, to be strong in our families, so these kids can get better. These contentious conversations, we got too much bloodshed today. We got too many husbands and wives, just walking out and cheating on one another because they're just so mad. Come on now. We got to look at what can we do to take a good look at our own attitude to see what am I doing in the picture here? What's making this thing look a little crooked and unright? Many times it's because we don't recognize that our focus is off. You're looking at the wrong thing. You're thinking the wrong thing because anything that you keep looking at and pondering about is going over and over in your head about what they said, over and over in your head about what they didn't do, and then what you expected them to do, because you can't expect them to do something they don't even qualify to do. First of all, I don't preach. You can't expect him to do something that he don't even know how to do. You can't expect that child to do something you never taught them how to do. Just want them to go out there and say, go fly, and then here they go there and hit the deck, and now you gotta go to ER because you told them to fly. Really? Because many of these kids are so afraid because they want to make sure they please so bad. Same thing in relationships. Many people just want to please so bad, and many are hurt because their expectations is out of sync. And the people become very contentious in the conversation about, I didn't know. Well, you didn't know. Well, see, one of the things you got to also understand, we got to redirect our conversation. Redirect your conversation. You ain't got to be blowing out a whole bunch of scriptures to redirect your conversation. You can just find a way to say something that's more fruitful, more loving. Just look at Galatians and find the fruit of the Spirit and find something out there you can be. Gentleness is very, very free today. Just a smile won't cost you anything. Well, what we want to do is we want to be so angry about everything. I got to go. This is what I want to finally say on the end here. Refuse to feed these conversations that are contentious spirits, okay? Refuse to keep making your calendar available for people you already know that is contentious. Quit getting with people that's going to weigh these spirits on you, and then you go home and you take it out on your children or your spouse and so on. You go to work with contention. You have contentious people on your job, and then you come home with that same thing. You expect God to move and flow you in your focus of your ministry and the things and visions that He's told you ahead of time. It's too much weight on people today dealing with people who never got any help from hurts, never got any help from so much pain and disappointment. And then they want to take it out on the people. Lord, help me today. So we got to redirect our conversation. We got to redirect our thinking. We got to redirect what we're saying and when and how. I said when, because everything ain't now. Okay. And we're talking too much, a whole bunch of us sharing too much information that don't need to go out. And you wonder why they're contentious now because they find out you did this for that one or that happened here. So let's remember to learn to linger in the presence of the Lord. That's your antidote of the whole thing. If you're in the presence of God, everything, hell has to drop and fall. Hell has to move. But many of us don't want to. We bring hell on into the house, let it sit down at the dinner table. Come on in, sit down here, let's talk, me and hell. So when he come in, I want to share hell with him. The devil is a lie. We have to look at the time that we're in. Learn to linger in the presence of God. Those who surround you, who influence you, will become more patient with you. They'll begin to see things happen that they can tell that you have been in the presence of the Lord because you're not doing this contentious talk. You got to make sure that everything that's happening around you, in order for God to make you really, really see and hear better, before 21, you have got to look at contentious people and how are you allowing your calendar to involve these contentious people in it. And so you want to command that they take a moment to hear the word of the Lord, meaning the presence of the Lord is here with you, the fruit of the Spirit. Amen. You need to plan and take time to make sure that you do planning, like I'm talking about here, planning on what you're going to do, planning for those people that God tells you to spend the time with to grow them up and make them more mature in the areas where they're weak. Your perceptions are corrected in God's presence. When you get in the presence of the Lord, everything else will begin to break. That means you're there saying, I'm sorry. Okay, I realized I shouldn't have done that. Yes, Daddy, I did. I shouldn't have said that to them. But we know, when we're not in His presence, a lot of things just continue on. We take the contentions that has caused us to be at a very low place, and before we know it, we spilled it over the other. Faith explodes in His presence. Father, I thank you, God, that when they listen to me today, I pray, God, that they'll begin to realize that some people who have caused so much contention, so much pain, whether it's in the relationship or in business, I pray, God, to let them realize that they too can become more patient and they can avoid these contentions as they get into your presence. I pray, God, they'll begin to guard their calendar, guard their time, to know that it's God that's saying this or that and not them because they feel rejected. They feel like they're going to lose a relationship. I pray, God, that you would speak to their hearts, that they would know where to cut the thing off and where to start it again and where to strengthen where it's weak. And so I leave this word today with you. It says, hurts to endure life trials, and it hurts worse to repeat such episodes. Yet without those deep hurts, we have very little capacity to receive godly counsel or make forward progress toward maturity. Over the long haul, God is honoring us through such tests, stretching us, breaking us, crushing us, and reducing us to an absolute open armed trust where we say, Lord, I have come to the end of my own flesh. And that means you're going to make sure that you hear God and you're going to take time to make sure that you examine the situations that are contentious. And you're going to make sure that you see how God is telling you where to slice off people you know that's going to be contentious and slice out people who you know that's just simply sap-sucking your time and draining you and taking everything out of you till you have no time for God or your family. And you definitely will not have time for anything that God is showing you for the ministry ahead. I love you. I'll talk to you on tomorrow. That is on Thursday, because this is for Wednesday. Love you so much. God bless you.